Now, next point, international trade organization. Carrying out trade at an international level is a more complex process than a domestic trade because we are very well familiar with the rules and laws, regulations of our country. But doing the same business at the international level or any other foreign countries, it becomes complexes. Now, trade takes place between the two or more nations, it becomes very complicated because the factors like economy of country, government policies, market laws, judicial system, currency, language, it influences the trade. It means every country has a different economic policy, their government policy is different, marketing laws and rules are different, their judicial systems are different, so even currency also. So if I want to change the currency with the Japan, UK, USA, so the currency problems, even the language barriers are there, we don't understand their language, so such problems occurs, and this affects the trade at a large scale. Even the political relations between the two countries also influences the trade between them. Now let's take example of India and Pakistan. So the political relations are not at good level, even the India and China also, so therefore the trade between these two countries has affected. Sometimes the obstacles in a way of trading affect the mutual relationships adversely. To avoid this, the international economics and trade organizations came up. So to have a solution over all these problems, so there is international economic and trade organizations are settled to smoothen and justify the process of trade between countries of different economic standing. Some international economic organizations were formed. So these organizations work towards the facilitation of growth of international trade, such just to make it easy and to avoid the complexities. These international trade organizations interferes in our business. Okay, this all our problems which have arisen through these mediums like these political relations, currency system, language, market rules, laws, and judicial system. The details of few organizations have been given here in the following table. Just have a look at it. So there are many international economic organizations. Let's have a look. Even here also you can see the various organizations. But here we are looking only some economic organizations of the world that are helpful for the trade economic purposes. Now here in the textbook page number 71 we have some economic organizations of the world. The chart is given. Just have a look. It is classified into the name of the international trade organizations, the number of member or state and logos, even the headquarter, in where the headquarter lies in which country, and what are its aims and functions, that are also given in the 4 column. So here are those 4 columns. So just have a look properly. Number 1, we have a World Trade Organizations. The member is 164 and this is the logo which is shown here. So it is the sign, and its headquarter lies at Geneva, which is in Switzerland. Now what is its aim? To provide platform for negotiation in the international trade, just to have a negotiation, a discussion, so that the problems can be solved. So provide a platform to handle the differences related to the trade, monitor the trade policies of member states. What are the trade policy it has? They just monitor those trade policies and accordingly they guide us. Providing technological assistance and training to developing countries. At the international level, carrying business in easiest way, we need to take the help of e-commerce. So technological assistance is given by this WTO, and the training also given to the developing countries so that it will be easy for them to transact at the international level. Number 2, we have European Union. So this is the logo of European Union. You can see it has a 28 and headquarter lies at the Brussels, which is in Belgium, Europe. Its aims are established an integrated market amongst members nation in Europe, free flow of goods, services and capital in Europe. In Europe, just make these things available free flow and make it available at the international level. Custom duties have been cancelled on exchange of goods within members. So those comes under European Union. So those members, among those, the custom duties have been cancelled for the exchange of goods. So there they can save their money. Even common euro currency is established. Now they have separate currency called euro. It is only used between these European nation countries. Now third we have OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and here is the logo of OPEC. You can see, and its headquarters lies at the Vienna, which is in Austria. OPEC are those countries which produces petroleum, which produces and exports petrol. All these countries mainly found in the Gulf. Those are called as Gulf countries. So controlling the international trade of crude oil. They are controlling the international trade of crude oil, control the rates of the crude oil production amongst the member states. So they decide the rate. Therefore, we can find the rates are very fluctuating every day. Even maintaining the consensus in the oil oil export. So have a good relationships, maintain among them the consensus in all export countries. Now next we have South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It is called as a SAARC. This is the logo. It has 8 members. Headquarters is at Kathmandu, Nepal. Its aims are finding satisfactory solution to the common problems faced by country in South Asia. So the mainly countries here, I just want to point out those countries which are settled around India, which is found at the Indian subcontinent. Those countries, all neighboring countries of India, comes in the SAARC. Now we have Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. So there are 8 countries which comes under it in SAARC. Now South Asian Association of Southeast Asian Nation. So the Asian which lies in Southeast Asia, so their association is different. Southeast Asia. So here we have 10 members. It's called as ASEAN. Its headquarters is at Jakarta, which is in Indonesia. And its aims are expanding social and cultural harmony along with economic growth in Southeast Asia, promoting regional peace, maintain the relationship. So that is also their aims. Promoting tax waves for a trade growth in member states. Tax waiver, that means cancellation of taxes or giving discount to the taxes for a trade growth in member states, so that business can be grown among themselves. Next we have Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, that is APEC. Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. It has 21 members. This is the logo. Headquarters is at Singapore. Aims are free trade and economic cooperation in Asia Pacific Ocean region, which is in Asia. The area lies within Asia Pacific Ocean of Asia. So that they carry free trade and economic cooperations in the region, promoting regional and technical cooperation among members. Now last we have BRICS, BRICS. By this, B stands for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China, and S for South Africa. So this is the all 5 countries have come together and they form BRICS as an economic organization. Its headquarters is at Shanghai, which is in China. So what their aims? To make funds available for growth of economic of members, enhancing mutual economic cooperation and strengthen the economic securities. So this is some economic organizations that we have studied, which is given in textbook. Let us have another look. So this is the headquarters of WTO, which is in Geneva, Switzerland. So here is the European Union countries. So the countries which lies in mainly in Europe continent, and from Europe continent, very few chosen countries, 28 members that we can see. So these are the participants country in European Union. We can have the look at this: Spain, Portugal, France, United Kingdom, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Polska, Poland, Romania, Greece, and few others country, which makes European Union. So this is the headquarter of European Union, which is in Brussels, Belgium. Next we have the OPEC, that is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Mostly these are called as Gulf countries. Have a look at those countries, where it lies, their locations. We have Ecuador, Venezuela, Equatorial Guinea, then Gabon, Angola, Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Algeria, Libya, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, 13 members. So this is the headquarter of OPEC, which is in Vienna, Austria. Now this is called as the SARC. In SARC, as I told you, the neighboring countries of India comes. There is Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and India. Total 8 countries has formed SARC countries, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Now next we have Asian countries, that is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. These are the 10 nations. Now which are those? Have a look. With the location it has been shown. It is Myanmar, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Philippines, and Brunei. So here are those 10 countries of Asian, which is in southeast of Asia. Now here is the headquarter of ASEAN, which is in Jakarta, Indonesia. Now next here we have APEC, the countries which are in Pacific Oceans of Asia. So Asia Pacific. So have a look, the members. It has 21 members. Republic of China, Republic of Korea, Japan, Chinese Taipei, Hong Kong, China, Republic of Philippines, Vietnam, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, Brunei, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand. So these are the countries. Now here is the list of these 21 members of the APEC: Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, people of Republic of China, Taiwan, and then Hong Kong, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Russia, Singapore, Thailand, United States, even the Vietnam. So these are the 21 members of the APEC. Keep in mind its location and these nations. Now this is the headquarters of APEC, which is in Singapore. Now next part is the marketing. Let us learn about something marketing. Now here we have one example. Let us go through it. With a lot of hard work, Dhondiva used to grow the best varieties of vegetables and other agriculture commodities. But his product could not fetch a good price. His college-going son saw the situation and he first packed the commodities nicely after cleaning them neatly. Then he contacted the supermarket in the town. Looking at the quality of his product, they advertised the farm products and kept it for sale in the mall. Today, Dhondiba's commodities are being sold for higher prices than before. It's because of only the proper packing and marketing. Now, this is the importance of marketing. An appropriate presentation of any commodity is indispensable. The price of commodity is determined by its quality and its grading and how it is presented before the customer. Now, with the above example, we have few questions. Why did Dhondiba's commodity start getting higher price? The answer is obviously for any commodity to be accepted by the customer and fetch to better price, it should have appropriate presentation. The price of the commodity is determined by its quality, its grading, and how that is presented before the customer. So Dhondiba's son, who was educated, realized this and he took the necessary actions in time, which helped Dhondiba to fetch better price. Second question: why did Dhondiba's son do for that? So what he did? So his son understood that his father lacked the proper presentation and marketing skills. So he adopted the modern marketing practices like clean the commodities well and pack them nicely. He then got in touch with the supermarket in the town. The supermarket was impressed with the quality of Dhondiba's product. They advertised the farm products and kept it for sale in the mall. So Dhondiba's commodity were in great demand and sold at the higher price than before. Next question: what measures would you suggest to the farmers near you so that then commodities can fetch a good price? The answer is some of the measures that we can suggest are: clean their vegetables, fruit well, grade the commodities, pack them nicely, advertise their farm products, sell it in the market. That's it. Today, only through advertisement we come to know about the products and to have a good quality products. So also its advertisement affects on us. Everyone does not possess knowledge about the every product, but when you see others using that product, or if we see the advertisement about the product when we inquire about it or see it in the market, it occurs to us that we need to use this product and we buy it. So this is possible because of marketing. Good marketing promotes business. Next point: importance of marketing. The modern industrial social fabric, globalization, and availability of abundant choices or alternatives of the product is the structure of today's business world. In this context, the existence of marketing system for trade is very important. Through marketing, one can increase business systematically. The production can be distributed all at once on a large scale. The product can reach a large number of consumers. The selling price of the product also increases. Also, the defective products can be recalled from the market. Therefore, in today's era, marketing is a vital part of trading system. Without marketing, there is no business. So, advertisements making the customers feel the need to buy the goods are on the rise. Reaching the maximum customers, attracting consumers to the products, and making consumers buy the products are the objectives behind them. So, the people, those who are doing the advertisement of their products, of course, their intention is to make people buy it, purchase it, consume it. In recent times, the information technology and media have affected the marketing system deeply. So, it is the effect of the information technology and the media that have affected the marketing system deeply. Because of the revolution in the field of information technology, the whole world has become a big market. Through internet, we can get information about the production taking place in various countries. This makes the numerous options available to the customers. It is due to the internet that customers can use facilities like online trading, e-marketing, or purchasing through the various applications which are provided by the which are provided by the manufacturers. Even we have the online shoppings now. Even groceries also available on the Flipkart and Amazon business. They are also providing the grocery products at home, so we can just search, go through it online, and we can demand it. Now always remember fact: an invisible flow develops when a product goes from producers to consumer. The commercial functions involved in this flow are collectively called marketing. The price of a commodity, sales promotion, advertisement, even the distribution are the major components of marketing. That is, marketing is based on these things: production, classification, its branding, labeling, and packaging. So, say the same thing is mentioned here through the flow chart. Here, let's take the example which is given below. The example is given of rice. So here we have to do the production of rice. Number one, the commodity of rice is taken. The production of basmati rice. Then we have to classify the basmati rice. That is whole, broken, dubar, or loose. So in that manner, we need to classify the commodity rice. Then we have to give a branding. So in branding it comes, we have to give the name of the company, what type of the rice it is, whether it is of Chinar, whether it is of Basmati or Dawat or the Indrayani or any other, the famous type. Then we have to create its logo. We have to register it, and after registering we get the number. So it comes in the branding. Then next step is labeling. We have to label it. We have to give a title, name, details about the quality of products, what type of it is, what it includes, what it is price, how well it is advertised, and its distribution according to the needs of the consumers. Then we have to do this attractive packaging so that it attracts the customer of the customers in more number. So afterward, the last, we have to go for the price, its promotion through the various advertisement, through social medias, through oral. So in a various way we can make its advertisement, we can make its promotion, and we can distribute among the consumer as per its need. So this is the explanation of this flow chart. If a product is advertised using incorrect information, the fraudulent means of making exaggerated statements or cheat customers, pointing out the shortcomings of the competitors, then the advertisement tend to lose our trust many times. Here it means you cannot do the marketing in a wrong way, fraudulent way, which can fraud the customers. Or don't give the exaggerated statements, don't talk too much, or the over exaggerated of the statements about the products, even though only the talk about those things which are relevant one and true one. Don't cheat the customers, and even don't point out the shortcomings of the competitors. So therefore you might have seen in various advertisement the name of the other products while comparing it's not shown. Therefore while advertising it is necessary to follow the rules and regulations. The consumers should also be aware of such advertisements. That is why the Consumer Protection Act has been enacted. So it is necessary that the consumer recognize his own needs and buys goods at the reasonable rates. So this is the explanation of this, and here our lesson ends. If you really like my explanation, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.